upskill your.
Hello and very good evening to all of you, my friends who are connecting today for this webinar brought to you by the Asia Pacific Institute of Digital Marketing. And today's webinar is actually partnered with another company, that's Shoutout Labs. So our knowledge partner for today's webinar is Shoutout Labs, and both the panelists or both the resource persons we have for today's webinar represents the same company, Shoutout Labs. And we are going to talk about customer experience through chatbots. Now, according to some research, 81% of the companies say that they are going to compete on the basis of customer experience in 2020 and beyond, right? Companies are competing in their industries based on various different tactics, strategies, and better customer experience is actually becoming one of the most important ways companies compete in their respective industry. So you see the importance of customer experience in this today's business environment. And not only that, in another research, it's found that 80% of day-to-day basic questions of our customers can be easily solved by a chatbot, right? Now imagine the amount of manual effort you have to actually put to resolve some of these very standard customer questions, which can be easily handled by a chatbot. Now, if you couple these two statistics, companies wanting to compete based on customer experience, and at the same time, 80% of the standard questions, standard problems of customers can be solved if we have a proper chatbot system in place to increase our customer experiences. So those are some of the numbers or statistics that I wanted to share with you at the outset of this presentation. So to talk about taking customer experience to the next level with chatbots, we have two panelists here today. I'm going to introduce the panelists in a moment. First panelist for today, representing Shoutout Labs, Tarindu Dasanayake, who is the CEO and one of the co-founders of Shoutout Labs. Tarindu is the CEO and the founder of Shoutout Labs that provides convenient and effective customer relationship management tools, and is currently working with over 3,500 users across 41 countries. He's a SaaS entrepreneur and also passionate in refashioning the techniques businesses use in engaging and communicating with their customers. Shoutout Labs is having their operation in Sri Lanka and in Nigeria, I learned, and they have their clientele across 41 different countries. And Tarindu is the co-founder and the current CEO of the company. So Tarindu, please come on screen and greet your audience today, this evening.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Thank you, Amita. First of all, having us today and giving the Shoutout Labs the opportunity to talk to you. Yeah, thank you for having us.
So, perfect. So we'll get back to you, Tarindu, in a moment. But before that, let me introduce our second speaker for today, second panelist for today. He's also from the same company, Shoutout Labs. He's Malintha Adhikari. Malintha is the head of AI at Shoutout Labs. Malintha currently works as the head of AI Shoutout Labs, and he's an expert in data engineering and analytics. Further, he possesses an extensive experience in Java language and Linux-based operating systems, and his areas of specialization are data analytics, recommender systems, machine learning, deep learning, and IoT, Internet of Things, right? So our second speaker for today, Malintha, please come on screen and greet our audience today. Malintha, I think your mic is switched off. Yes.
And thank you, and it's happy to join with you.
So I expect to discuss this cool stuff in the next coming time.
Perfect. Thanks, Malinta, and thanks, Tarindu, for joining with us today. So with that, actually, I'm going to hand over the presentation back to Tarindu, who will be our resource person for the next maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And you'll be learning a lot about chatbots and how you can use chatbots for improving customer experiences. So Tarindu, over to you.
Thank you, Amit, again. First of all, I'll share my screen.
Yeah, while actually Tarindu getting his screen ready, I forgot to mention one thing. So our lovely audience this evening, if you have any questions from the presentations, please feel free to leave your questions in the Q&A box, which you might see in your toolbar on your Zoom toolbar. Please leave your questions, and the panel will be taking the questions at the end of the presentation. We'll take about like 10 to 15 minutes to answer your questions. So please let the questions coming in. We have a wonderful audience today. I see we have more than like 70 people connected live for this webinar. So we would like to actually engage with you in the Q&A session. So stay with us. You are going to learn quite a lot of stuff about chatbots and customer experience. So over to you, Tarindu.
Thank you. Cool. So good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. Thank you for Epiderm for organizing this webinar. And we are happy to be a partner of knowledge partner of this webinar. So as you are already excited about getting to know about chatbots, so we're going to actually talk about how messaging is important factor for today's business, and also how chatbot is going to play a major role in the future of customer experience, customer communication. First of all, about myself and the company, I'm the founder at Shoutout Labs. So Shoutout actually we started in 2015 as a messaging platform. Basically, it's a SaaS product, software as a service. We are currently we actually have users around 60 plus subscribing to our services every day. Like we are now actually exceeding more than 10,000 users. These are some of the customers we are serving in Sri Lanka. And more about Shoutout, like about giving an idea about what you're doing. So as I explained, like we started as a customer communication platform. We call it a CPaaS. And you can actually simply send SMS, email messages globally through Shoutout. And we do a lot of interactive activities through SMS. And then we introduced this loyalty management platform to the market. It's going as enterprise loyalty management platform where we help businesses to manage the point engine and also the reward management and customer engagement in one platform. So recently, we launched Shoutout AI because we think like the next wave of the communication is coming with the AI technologies, the chatbot technologies. We're building our chatbot engine over the last year. And with the current situation, we got some time to actually get into market actively. So we released as a product recently. You can check it out, Shoutout.ai. So I think this is the right time, and the market the future is actually a little bit coming earlier, I feel. I think this is a great opportunity for you also to look at this new wave. So before coming to chatbots, so even to realize the importance of chatbots, so we need to think why messaging is really important, because this messaging and chatbots are going hand in hand, because if there is no importance of messaging, there is no importance of chatbot as well. So let me start with a story. So I was in New York in February for a business trip. Actually, I was in my transit, and I extended to 3 days because I wanted to actually meet people, make some business connections. And one thing I forgot, actually, I forgot my business card. So I was no clue what I can do. Like, so then what I did when once I go to the hotel, what I did, I took my phone and I searched the printing shops nearby, and it pops up all these printing shops nearby. And I message these people because I didn't have a local SIM to make calls. And even I make calls, they might they might be hard to find my accent. And what I did, like I message all these the printing shops, and luckily one printing shops replied to me to immediately. And what I did, like I send my design files and I get the designs immediately. So you can see my actual conversation here. So that's a great experience for me. Like within few minutes, I got able to connect with the business, and the whole process, customer journey is really seamless, and I get things done immediately. And another point I want to highlight. So even when we are talking about messaging, messaging is not about like WhatsApp, Messenger, Viber, and the popular messaging apps we are using. So every business application now combined with messaging. Even Google Maps, I didn't know that Google Maps has a messaging option. What I normally do is like when I search a location, I press the call button. But messaging is super easy. I love messaging than calling. So think about daily application we are using. This is an application I use every day. And think every application, this application has messaging functions. The LinkedIn is the platform where we can connect with the professionals, but it has messaging and it's getting improved. And think about Slack, Facebook, WhatsApp, SMS, even Google Maps, Instagram, all these application has messaging, even Zoom. Even you will realize that Zoom, even you can build actually chatbot for Zoom. So all these applications now has a messaging functionality. So messaging is a very important factor for business. So it's a interface for businesses to communicate with the customers more effectively. And this is some fact from in 2015, how the usage of messaging apps basically surpassed the usage of social media application. So this is a comparison between the 4 big messaging apps versus the social media networks. See, the messaging is growing even than the usage of social media. And this is some interesting facts. In last month, with this COVID-19 outbreak, almost all the countries went a lockdown, or at least a partial lockdown. So see, like how these, in these regions, how the messaging has been increased, like how people are using messaging application. In worldwide, it's a 20% increase. So that's kind of it's showing like what is the opportunity ahead of us. So the fact is, so messaging is where we spend a ton of time, and we spend a lot of time on messaging, and we would prefer actually talk to messaging. But it's still, if you see most of the businesses, they have call as a main communication function for most of the businesses. But for the businesses who are actually thinking messaging is like a way forward, so they will actually win the customer loyalty in the future. So these are some research on like how customers are expecting a response from different customer service channels. Think about email. Like the email is like people are expecting a response from 17 hours, average 17 hours. And social media comment, it is 10 hours. And live chat, it should be immediate. Like people are expecting a response from live chat immediately. And think about yourself. Like when you are sending an email, do you expect a response from immediately? Typically, we tend to wait for like few hours or few minutes. Like we know, like it takes time to get a reply. So psychologically, we are trained for that. Like we are expecting a mail a little bit later. Think about the WhatsApp message that you're sending to a friend or maybe to a business. You're typically expecting a fast response. So that's how we actually like psychologically what we think. So this is not just happen through messaging. So you might wonder why I put these logos in this slide. So why I'm putting this, like, so there is a on-demand economy is going on. So Uber, Eats, PickMeFood, all these the brands build an on-demand economy in current, like in fast few years. So what happened is, like with a few clicks, we can order cab to our doorsteps, and we can, whenever think, like we can actually go and book a hotel. So we have this feeling, I want it now. So I want to get it now. So that has happened to messaging as well. So what happened is customer service, we need it now. Like we need a customer service from a company right now. That's why messaging is important and people prefer. So now you can see, so there's opportunity with messaging, not just one messaging platform, so many messaging applications that a customer can engage with the business. And there's another opportunity. like a barrier, maybe like a challenge that people want it right now. So how are we gonna solve these factors together? So that's why we need chatbots. So what you can do is chatbots will solve that for you. So chatbots acts like a human that the chatbot can actually respond to customer inquiries or what customer needs like a human. If I break it down, what is a chatbot? So chatbot is basically a computer program that simulates the conversation between with the customer, with the human. And it acts like a human, it replies like a human. So these interactions basically happens through voice and messaging. And also, these are the program to work independently without a human operator. And even chatbot is not actually a new term. You might be already interacting with chatbots daily. So think about your iPhone, and you might be already using Apple Siri. You can take a call with Apple Siri without you touching a phone. And Google Assistant, you can schedule meetings, calls, and everything. And even you have seen a lot of maybe Amazon Alexa videos, like people are creating these smart home applications and all these things sharing on the internet. So you can see how chatbots are coming into the society, like to the community slowly. So why, I think you already can feel like why is chatbot is important. So definitely it is a cost saving method. So rather than increasing your customer support service or like your initial support, the human base, like you can actually minimize that cost with introducing a chatbot. And you can get a lot of value with this data because these are the front end data that you are actually interact with the customer. So this data is valuable, and that data you can use it to improve your customer product, like the products that you are serving to the customers, and cut down errors. Like it's rarely that bot can get error because it's trained to answer the particular questions, and bot set doesn't have emotions. Like if the human agent is angry, so the most of the time the customer service they're getting is not like nice. But for chatbots, they don't have emotions, so it always talk to a human nicely. And most importantly, customer support, you can provide 24/7 customer support with chatbots. So, okay, so what are the types of chatbots? So you may already engage with some Facebook chatbots or maybe some web chatbots. So most of the time, you might be engaged with these functions based. So there are two types of chatbots, which is a function based on rules, and other one is where it based on artificial intelligence. So the function based chatbot, the capabilities are very limited, where the bot can respond to a very specific command. So it can't identify what customer is saying and respond. That doesn't happen in the function based or rule based chatbots. And that the smartness of chatbots, these kind of chatbots, is based on how the program is strong. And other side, the chatbot is based on artificial intelligence. So it has an artificial brain, which we know as artificial intelligence. So it can basically understand your language, what we're saying, not just commands. So then actually based on your unstructured command, chatbot can answer your questions. So that's what happened in artificial learning. And other thing is like chatbots, these artificial chatbots, they continuously learning and they get smarter when they talk to more people. So in the later stage, the bot is much smarter. So this is what we did in last few weeks. Maybe you have already seen this. We built a chatbot to support COVID-19. Okay, like it's a virtual assistant for get support on essential service. So what we did, like we combined these two models. We call it a hybrid model. So where you can see in the first two screens, it's a flow. So basically, customer comes or the person comes to our chatbot and they can say hi, and it automatically starts the way we welcome the person, and they can select the language, whether it's English or Singlish. Based on the language they select, and they will pop up the menu, whether they need a medical service, whether they need essential service. So once they select the medical service, we provide the solutions like the find a pharmacy. And when they click the find a pharmacy, they can enter the city, nearest city, and it lists down all the pharmacies that deliver into your doorsteps. So that's the menu-based one. And also, the same chatbot, then we improved to understand some of the conversation from the human. So you can simply come to the chatbot, say hi, and then you can ask like, I need a curfew pass. How can I get a curfew pass? Then it understand the customer, the person that he's asking how to get a curfew pass, and then we, based on our knowledge, the chatbot's knowledge, it respond to the customer. And also like what's the status of Corona, and you can see the last screen. It's asking a supermarket, where are the nearest, where can I get, what are the supermarkets open? And the bot has a question. So there are a lot of supermarkets open, and he needs to answer which city. So then he's asking counter questions. What is the nearest city to you? And then once the customer gives the city, it suggests what's the nearest supermarket. So this is a hybrid model. It both understand the consumer, what he's talking, and also it has a flow-based chat. So we all now wondering how actually these chatbots can transform our customer experience. So think about some daily customer journeys that we are going for. So let's take ordering a pizza. So what we do normally, so we go to take the call their hotline, and then we wait in the IVR menu, like select the language, and then maybe if you are lucky, we can connect to a human agent immediately. If not, we have to wait in the line. So after we connected to the human agent, we give what are the necessary like details about the order, and the human agent places the order. So how we can actually make a better experience with the chatbots. So this is what the Domino's Pizza has done in US. So basically customers can, they actually did a nice campaign, send a pizza emoji and make a quick order. It enables through SMS, Messenger, and they did it Alexa and some other platforms as well. In Messenger, so basically I can send an emoji, or I can say hi to the messenger, and then it pop-ups the menu, what I need. Like when I select order, which I can, I get like whether I need the most recent order or whether I can go to a new order. So the importance of this most recent order, then the customer, the chatbot knows my history, like what is my recent order, or maybe the chatbot knows my favorite dish, favorite pizza, and it can recommend, would you like to make this pizza? This is what you like, and that's immediate. I can say yes, I need to order that pizza. Then immediately bot can place an order. So most of the time we are actually going through a repetitive task with the business, but what happened is like we have to go through these call centers, sometimes visiting. So it's like most of the hectic stuff to get us same thing that we are getting from a business. But it's chatbot, they know our history, they know our past purchases, and they can serve us better. So this is what eBay has done to transform in the shopping experience. Think about an e-commerce online store. I think these days online stores are much popular. What happened, like when you are going to an online store, we get lost. Like sometimes we won't, I mean, if it is a big online store where where there are like a lot of options that we can select, we don't know like where to go. Like then let's say that if there is a chatbot, what I can do, like I can ask, I need this black bag. Can you find for me? And then bot knows from his inventory what are the black bags. So then the bot can actually suggest these are the black bags that we have. Would you like to order, or would you like to get more like this? So likewise, you can actually improve the customer experience in a better way through the chatbots. And this is a chatbot actually we did for a rent-a-car. Basically, the customer can, so what they do is like they promote the WhatsApp number online, but most of the time their customers are not only for Sri Lankans, because the customers, the foreigners, they want to engage before they come into Sri Lanka and they want to rent a car. So the customer can say hi, then it will pop up the automated message. Would you like to get a driver with a self-driving car? And based on the reply, then it suggests what type of car you want, what type of vehicle you want. And you can see it identify, so here the example, the customer gives a date, or even he can understand, I need it tomorrow. Then we know the chatbot knows it's talking about the day tomorrow. So it assigns the data, collect the data accordingly, and send it to the relevant salesperson. So this is like act as the early sales chatbot, where they can collect the information. And what happens is, like in the rent-a-car service, they are not working only on Sri Lankan time. So they can even customer in US, where the time difference is much high, even they can go to chatbot and get the initial service done. So this is a bank in Germany. So you can see this talks like more like a human. So this has embedded like a real AI functions into this chatbot, where if the customer wants, they can simply connect to a human through the chat, or else they can tell what they need directly. So here you can see like the customer lost a card, and then the chatbots learns it and give the answers, and see like how friendly the chatbot is talking to the person. So that's how the chatbot can actually transform your day-to-day, the customer journeys. Sometimes, you can't actually replace your complete customer journeys with chatbots, but you can actually automate at least some parts. And also you can connect different channels into one chatbot, and you can serve customers better. Even with this rent-a-car solution, they need to actually get into even Google Business, because if they open up Google Business, what happens is a lot of the customers are connecting with Google Businesses, but if they can't reply, customer get disappointed. So that's why the chatbot is actually important to respond to customers on time and also give effective service. So now I will actually hand over to Malintha. So before going to Malintha's talk, if you are interested, like we're actually having 2 more webinars on planning to have webinars on more talk about chatbots in marketing, and also the user experience in chatbots in 2 webinars in future. So if you like, you can actually go to our website and subscribe to our events as well. And Malintha, I'll share with Malintha. So Malintha will explain to you how how actually a human understand a conversation, and how we can actually solve with a chatbot.
Yeah, Tardu, actually, before we move to Malintha, while Malintha actually get ready with his presentation, there are like few questions I see in the Q&A box. Shall we like quickly look at these 3 questions and see whether we can give an answer then and there? We have one question: how do bots handle multilingual queries in social media and other channels? And then another question in regards to banking chatbots, how does the confidential aspect work? And there's another lengthy question. So, yep, maybe if you can pick at least one question right now and answer, so that we can take the other questions at the end of the
Sure. Okay, I'll quickly go through these multilingual queries. So basically what happens is, in chatbots, we actually train a bot for different languages. So basically, let's say now we train this COVID-19 chatbot for English and Singlish. So Singlish means actually you are typing the message in English letters, in singular meaning, but in English letters. So we have trained the bot for 2 languages. In that case, we build the knowledge based on the particular language. For English, we have a knowledge base, and for Singlish also we are building a knowledge base. So based on this, the customers, the language selection, and based on our knowledge base, they are actually respond. So if you want to add more languages, we need to build as a separate knowledge base. So Malintha can explain it later in his presentation as well. And banking, actually, I think Malintha's presentation covers around like the facts about the security. The importance of when you're selecting a chatbot, you need to think about whether you are, what type of actually business you are, whether you can put your the chatbot in a public cloud, or whether you need it in a private cloud or on premise. So that's how you need to select a chatbot engine. So if you talk about Shouter.ai, we are build a chatbot engine where we can deploy it in any service. Like let's say now it's a bank, we can deploy your chatbot engine in a on-premise server, on-premise solution. what happens is then it doesn't send the data to outside. And if you need to connect your internal nodes, we can connect through our APIs, through our connectors. And if you want to connect to internet services, then we can actually connect through secure connections. I think Malintha can explain it further in his presentation. Malintha.
Sarinder, thank you. I think you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see Malintha. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for participating in this event. So actually Tharindu explained a lot about chatbots, and also how we can apply, how we can use chatbots in our companies, especially marketing and other stuff. Now I'm going to walk you through some technical background between creating chatbots. So in my segment, I would like to cover 4 topics. So first, we will look at how human beings do conversations and what is the flow of a conversation. And then we get essence from that experience of human beings, and how can we convert that experience into a software-based intelligent chatbots platforms. And then I will briefly describe you architecture or sample architecture of a chatbot platform, which is for that I am using Shoutout AI chatbot platform architecture. And finally, I will discuss with you the points you should consider when you select a chatbot platform solution. So let's go through. Let's look at what are the entities involved in natural human conversation flow. So actually, it's a bit surprising, because we have to label this conversation flow as human conversation flow. So do you know the reason? So the reason is actually there are non-human conversation flows, so which is artificial chatbots. But to understand it better, let's go through our natural conversation flow. So any conversation, we have a user. So user initiate a conversation. So user asks a question from another human being. So let's name the responder as ear, because he is listening to the user's question. And the ear's responsibility is understand the question, understand the aim of the question, and also extracting some information from the user input if there's any. Now, ear has some understanding about the user's question. Now, let's introduce an entity called brain. We call this entity a brain because it should be intelligent enough to understand the aim and information of forwarded by ear and construct the appropriate response for the current question. But some may think this is all with conversation, because one asks question and one entity identify the aim and extract information, and one entity is constructing the response. But as human beings, we don't know about everything. So sometimes we need external knowledge resources to answer some questions. As an example, sometimes we may refer books, we go to library, or when someone asks question, we may ask some specific things from other resource persons. So in a natural human conversation flow, we can identify that entity as external knowledge resources. Okay, so now the brain can construct the response and send it back to the user who asked the question. Okay, so we can think this is the story of conversation, but let's reconsider that. So think this brain is a wise person. So the brain can store or memorize about the past conversation, past experience to give a better service. Like it memorizes the questions asked by the users, and it memorizes the answers provided by itself. And also it can store information about the failures and also what that entity got from external resources. And with this kind of memory, there's another interesting entity. We can call it the entity who can provide insights. As an example, if we consider a company can go through the storage of past conversations and generate some insights using data mining or machine learning, and that company can use those insights to get better business decisions. Okay, now let's we look at the natural human conversation flow. Now the challenge is, how can we convert this flow into a artificial software-based chatbot solution? So it's challenging. Okay, let's go through each element, and let's discuss how we convert each element into a software solution. First, let's look at the user. Okay, in this current digital era, as all of us know, we have several different digital channels to communicate. So one can communicate with a website using the chat box provided inside that website. Or if we think about social media, we can use Facebook Messenger, or we can use WhatsApp, or there are many other different channels. And one important thing is we can't forget the voice calls, telephone calls. So all of these are input channels. So actually we model the user entity in a natural conversation flow as channels. Okay, now let's look at the next entity, which was the ear. So which has the responsibility of understanding the user's question and extracting some data. So we model this entity as the natural language understanding component, which is responsible for understanding the user's question and also extracting some data. And to understand this better, let's look at an example. So you can see on the right side of your screen, there's a question we got from a user. So user asked, I want to find a pharmacy. Now this ear, which is we call NLU, Natural Language Understanding Component, process that specific input and try to understand the aim of that question, which is called as intent. Okay, so what's the intent of this question? Finding a pharmacy. Okay, so we categorize that question as intended with class finding a pharmacy. And if there's any information, we can extract that information, but unfortunately, there's no any other information. Okay, now there's another challenge, because the human conversational behavior is not trivial. It's very complex, because we can ask the same question using different form of language. Let's look at this example. So now our NLU component, which is the ear of our conversation, is getting this question. I want to find a pharmacy in Negombo. Okay. What's the intent of this question? What's the aim of this question? It's finding a pharmacy. We know that. and we can find some extra information there. So which is related to the context of our question. We call those information as entities. So our natural language understanding module component is intelligent enough, and it can identify, okay, the classification of this problem is finding a pharmacy, and I got the location Negombo because it can identify the location as Negombo. Okay, so before going into the next slide, so this is theoretical. So you may wondering, how can we do this practical? So actually we are using natural language processing, which is a subtopic of artificial intelligence for that, especially to understand the aim of the sentence and to identify the entities. So which is Negombo as a location. So we use natural language processing mixed with deep learning or machine learning. Okay, so our next entity is the brain, which is it should be intelligent enough to construct the response for the user. So let's understand how can we model this entity in software world. So we call this brain as conversational builder in our for our architectural purpose. So obviously, as its name says, it build up the conversation. And now let's understand how this brain or the conversational builder do this thing. So again, we will go through the same example. So now the user again is giving, I want to find a pharmacy, and our ear NLU is doing a great job and identify the intents and also identify entities, and that information is forwarded into the brain, which is the conversational builder. Okay, now before going to the next slide, I would like to ask you a question, like maybe you can come up with your answer. Okay, if someone asks the same question from you, I want to find a pharmacy, what is your natural response? Yes, we should ask, what is the location? Because the user at the first place didn't provide the location. So we use artificial intelligence technologies to face such kind of situations when the user asks a question, and NLU part, it's forward as the intent and entities. Now our conversational builder built the next response as asking the location. Okay, so now let's look at this example here. As we know, the NLU, the actual user is asking, I want to find a pharmacy in Negombo, providing a location. Now NLU is providing all information, and now our conversational builder is intelligent enough to answer. So obviously, what should be the answer? It should be a list of pharmacies. Okay, so let's finally look at some difficult example. So this is this example in the right side, you can see on the screen. This example is from a bit lengthy conversation in between a human and a bot. So in the first part of the conversation, the human user is said to the customer, hey, I came to the supermarket. And after some dialogues in between the human being and the chatbot, now the human being is asking, where's the pharmacy? Okay, now according to our past experience, if someone asks this question, I want to find a pharmacy, similar intent, finding a pharmacy. Now if you look at this question, this has the same intent, but we are using the artificial intelligence. So we expect our bot to be intelligent enough to understand this scenario. So this brain understand and know this user is inside a supermarket. So when he asks a pharmacy, I should not ask the location again. I should provide the nearest pharmacy in this within this supermarket, or the location of the pharmacy within this supermarket. So that's why we use we use artificial intelligence to build this kind of chatbot, and that's why we should use. And let me give you some bonus information. And now you again you might think, okay, practically this is very interesting, but how can we do that? So actually we are using using artificial intelligence. So we are feeding some examples to this component, this conversational builder, using learning techniques. By looking at each conversation, we predict the possible outputs, and by error correcting over the time, this conversational builder learns how to reply appropriately. So now let's look at the other entities we had in our natural flow. One of the main important entity was how can we incorporate external knowledge. And actually we can decouple this external knowledge, maybe knowledge sources like databases or third-party APIs, maybe remote API endpoints. We can connect those sources using connectors. So these are decoupled connectors from the core chatbot engine, core chatbot operations. And another one is memory. How can we store these conversations? So this is text. So we can use some processors to process these conversations into a structured way. And also we can again use connectors to store this information in the databases. And maybe we can call this analytics manager, because which is responsible for collecting analysis. And another interesting entity is insights for businesses. So as an example, I would like to say a business is willing to see some insights, like what was the most common problem in the weekend, and what is the trending question, and what is the feedback of customers? Are they happy with the way I am answering? Like such kind of questions. So we can use dashboards for such kind of insights, show such kind of insights, and businesses can use those dashboards to to help to support their business decisions. And let me quickly go through architecture, how we construct this architecture, connecting by integrating all of these parts. We talked about user. So we can place users as channels. So we are getting inputs. And we have ear, which is NLU. We have brain, which is a conversation builder and response builder. And we have connectors who are dealing with external knowledge resources. So you can see these are decoupled. And we have storage, analytic manager, and we have dashboards to provide analytics. So this is the architecture we have created. We have followed to create our Shoutout chatbot platform. Okay, now we went through a lot of technical stuff, and let me walk you through a funny example we faced during our chatbot experience. Now see, in this green box in your slide, you can see the human being asked or say something in the middle of the conversation. You are dumb fool, and yes, you can see the answer of the chatbot. So it answered accordingly, appropriately. So this is funny, and also I want to exaggerate one point. So this is very helpful to provide better customer experience, because when the customer is using a chatbot, he or she is expecting the natural human conversational behavior. So if our chatbot is intelligent enough to answer accordingly, so that is very good sign. Okay, so let me show you another example. So in this example, user said provided a compliment, and chatbot is really happy with that. So think human beings can say random things in the middle of a very formal situation. So when you are filling a form, you can say some random things. But these chatbots, intelligent chatbots, they are intelligent enough to face those situations, solve them, and continue their task. So that's a very good sign of the intelligent chatbot. Okay, finally, I would like to present you some considerations you would make while you are selecting a chatbot platform. One thing is it should be scalable, because as we saw, we have several different channels. Maybe we are dealing with Messenger, but tomorrow maybe we want to integrate WhatsApp. So the solution should be provide a convenient way to integrate channels without doing much changes, and also capabilities. So as you say, and as I said, as you know, we are using AI and machine learning, natural language processing, like kind of cutting edge technologies to build this kind of intelligent chatbot. So these technologies are evolving, and maybe so new things are popping up every day. So we should be able to update our mechanism without any major issues. And also we should update regularly. And another very important thing is security. So these conversations are sensitive data. So if it is a bank, you can't expose this data at any circumstance to the other party. So as an example, if you are using a chatbot in your company, and you are sending API requests to a third party to find things, to find intents, and calculate the next response. So it's not secured way to do that. So they should be deployed, maybe a private cloud or your private premises to secure them. And also maybe they should facilitate you to, if you want, they should facilitate you to connect with external knowledge resource securely. Okay, so this is the brief technical description of creating chatbots. I would like to hand over this session to Amita.
Okay, thank you very much, Malinda and Tarindu, for your valuable inputs today on our topic of taking customer relationships to the next level, with customer experience to the next level with chatbots. And I suppose like most of our participants today learned quite a lot about chatbots. If you had like doubts in mind, like what are chatbots and how it can actually help the general customer experience in any brand, I'm sure that most of those doubts are now clear. Now let's actually turn to the Q&A session. We have like about 10 minutes to take questions. I saw earlier Tarindu took some of the questions. Tarindu, do you have any hand-picked questions that you want to go through? Because we have close to about 10-15 questions in our Q&A box. Malinda, you can also go through the Q&A and maybe pick some of the questions that most suits you, and you can answer some of those questions.
Yes, I would like to answer this question of chatbots for local languages. So actually, as you all know, there are many chatbot solutions for international languages, maybe Deutsch, German, English, France, Spain, Spanish, so that kind of languages. But if you are thinking about some local languages, the basic question is, can we do that? So yes, we can do, and we have proved that thing with our COVID bot, so which supports English language. And what's the next question is, what's the difficulty of training process? Do we have to invest many resources to train? Actually, no, because we are not hand feeding everything. We are using some kind of clever techniques to overcome the difficulties happening with different languages. So as an example, I told you the brain part and all the ear part. So if you think about different languages, the brain part of a chatbot is same, because when you get some input, if you can convert all inputs, maybe different languages, into a one generic format, and if you feed that format into a brain, so brain is expecting in one format. So our ear has the responsibility of converting the signals from different language. Maybe asking Sinhala, mata pharmacy khawaganda, or in English, I want to find a pharmacy. The ear's responsibility is classify this sentence as finding a pharmacy and feed it to the brain. So that's the clever technique we use. And also we can use the enhancements of artificial intelligence to solve the problems with languages. But yes, there are problems. We have some custom components for each different language, but it's a solvable problem.
Okay, cool. Tarindu, you were picking one question, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So there's a question like, may I know the challenge? The question was asked by Ramiz Hazim. May I know the challenges chatbot facing in local market? So I think the main challenge actually the local market facing is like the language support. I think most of because we actually as developers use most of these chatbot engines, but those actually most of the time support for English or like popular languages. But in come to Sri Lanka, we are actually mostly a Sinhala speaking or Tamil speaking nation. And then that manner, like we can't actually, most of the chatbots are not supporting the local language. So that's one of the challenge. And also the adaptation of, I think the messaging as a channel is a little bit lower still, because we are mostly driven through taking a call and managing a call center kind of operations. So I think it will be changed even with this situation, because I see like most of the businesses like taking WhatsApp message to deliver things to at home these days. So I think it will be changed. So there's opportunity for chatbots in the future, like giving a better customer experience. I think those are the main challenges. Marinder, do you have anything to add? Or?
No, not from my side.
Yeah.
Do we have time for?
Yeah, we have time for a few more questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one question, I would like to pick this question from Ramiz Hazim. So he's asking like, what is the breaking point of what's the breaking point of chatbots? That which means actually that's real, that's true problem, practical problem, because we can't teach everything to chatbot. So maybe at some points chatbots can't provide the correct response. But actually, when we are doing this technically with machine learning thing, so actually we are, as I said, the brain is selecting, building the most appropriate answer. But actually, what we are doing is we are generating a list of possible answers, and we select the maximum answer with the maximum probability. And sometimes I have seen for some questions, the bot is generating answers with all answers, we have very low probabilities. Like his confidence value is very low. For such kind of problems, think that if that threshold value is less than 0.02, we can instruct, okay, give this fixed answer. Like, I couldn't understand your question. Please help me to understand it better. So that is what we can do as a remedy. Yeah.
Right. Perfect. I think we have time for taking one more question. I think we have had a few more new questions coming in. Maybe Tarindu, pick one more question from the Q&A box, and we can, yeah.
Yeah. I think some questions actually good relevant to Malinda as well.
Okay.
You can answer better.
There's this interesting question: Is a chatbot can be installed in all social media platforms, FB, Messenger, WhatsApp, and all the same chatbot?
Yeah, definitely. So even I mean, we have done the same thing. So what we do is like we actually build in the connectors for different channels. But there are actually some differentiation on different channels. Let's say Facebook support this button on their chatbot, so the user can quickly click on a button and give an input. But in WhatsApp, it's just text based, so that's driven on text. But we can do the connectors for all these channels, but we can use the same chat engine in the backend. So we are using the same knowledge base, same chat engine, but we are developing connectors for different channels.
But you may have to actually do certain adaptation to each platform to use the same knowledge base. Okay, perfect.
Yes, definitely, because how we present in the front end is different from another channel to another channel, so it's different.
Right. Okay. Cool. I think it's closer to 8:35, so we have to actually wind up this. So thank you very much, guys, for connecting today. So we had like closer to about 80 participants right throughout the presentation. But before I close the session for today, let me just quickly share this news with you that we are starting our next batch of professional diploma in digital marketing on 30th May 2020. And this time it's going to be 100% delivered online program. You know, our professional diploma, it had been for last like 5 years, starting from 2015, we've been doing this for 14 consecutive batches, and all this time we actually delivered this in classroom. Right now, with the current situation, our present 2 batches, that is batch number 13 and 14, we had to actually move it to virtual classes. What we are going to do is, with that experience, the next batch of our professional diploma in digital marketing, the batch number 15, which will start on 30th May, we are going to start it as a 100% online delivered program. And with that, this is going to be the very first such batch, 100% delivered online. And we are giving a one-time offer for whoever who is willing to join this batch. Our course fee is normally 89,500 for the professional diploma in digital marketing, but the very first 100% online program, we are offering it at 58,500 one-time offer. So if you are interested in enrolling for this program, please inquire Apidem on any of our phone numbers, or just write an email to info@apidem.lk, or message us on Facebook Messenger, and you will get the details on how to connect with this. I mean, whether you are from Colombo, Kandy, Gampaha, Kurunegala, from wherever, you can register for this program, because we know that a lot of the people from outstations or other cities, they wanted to join this program, but because it was conducted as a classroom session, most people actually couldn't attend the classes. Now this is your opportunity. And if you are one of our past students of Apidem, please share this message with any of your friends who would be interested in joining. And one more last message, I don't have a slide for that. the message is that our next webinar is going to be on the topic of Internet of Things, IoT. So we'll announce who is going to be the speakers and all, like probably tomorrow. And it's going to be a 3-episode webinar series, a series of 3 episodes. So we'll actually start on Monday, and then there will be a follow-up session on Wednesday and the closing session on Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's going to be kind of a short course on Internet of Things. So we'll announce the details of the speakers and what we are going to discuss, the course outline and everything tomorrow. So stay in touch with us on our Facebook page, Asia Pacific Institute of Digital Marketing, and through our LinkedIn page. So that's it. Those are the announcements. And thank you very much for connecting with us today. And thank you, Tarindu, and thank you, Malinta, for sharing your valuable knowledge with our audience today. And until we meet next time, I wish you a wonderful evening, a very good evening. And thank you very much for joining, everyone.
Thank you
Very much.